Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
This episode is brought to you by United Airlines. When you want to make the most of your vacation, book with United. They're an airline that cares about your travels as much as you do. United is transforming the flying experience with Bluetooth connectivity, screens, power at every seat, and bigger overhead bins to help fit everyone's bag. And with their app, you can skip the bag check line, get live updates, and more. Change the way you fly. Book your next trip today at united.com.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hey, bitches. Welcome to a brand new episode of But Am I Wrong? Starring two people who have not once ever been wrong. Not even me when I said that January was last year. That was not wrong. It is just about perception, how you perceive things. This is a podcast where we've got many different segments. We will get into each one of them before, so you don't have to forget. But all you really need to know is it's ethical shit talking because it's being asked for, or the people we're talking about, people or places, have reached such a level of fame and celebrity or have done something so incredibly heinous that it doesn't matter that they'd asked for it. They should have not done the thing. In the words of Taylor Swift, if boys want me to write nice songs about them, if boys want me to write mean songs about them, they shouldn't do mean things to me. I'm butchering it. Like it's she's more concise than I am. She's media trained. Me, not so much. So yeah. And one of the best parts, I think, about this podcast is we get your participation. So we go on our Instagram story and we post votes, a whole slideshow on our stories of who you think was wrong on each of the topics and segments we have in the podcast. And then you can click the little poll button and vote who you think was wrong. And then we read those results as well as the messages you all send in response, like why you voted the way you did, your thoughts, your feelings. Sometimes people have personal experience, or sometimes for our write-in segment, people who have written in will like write back. And we read all of that on our episode that comes out on Tuesday called See You Next Tuesday. So make sure you're following our Instagram because, you know, we started a new schedule. So there is a less than consistency that I have been posting on the stories for when I'm uploading those. It's out the window. So it's a learning curve. We're learning together. But in order to not miss it, you should follow. And I always put it in the highlight. But if you don't see it in the highlight and you know it already had went up, or you don't see it up at all and you know that it's almost Thursday, which is when we record, send me a message, a DM on my personal. And that will be very helpful. I will not take it. Like, I won't be offended at all. You don't have to worry about that.
What if I said something offensive to you?
Do you know what something offensive that someone said to me that I got a TikTok comment?
What?
Melissa, it's crazy. And maybe if I say it now, I will actually, because I was like, I have to respond to this comment, like do a video response. Oh, I got another comment from you.
Me?
Didn't you? That's so funny. Were you talking to me while you wrote the comment?
Yes, because
that.
I needed to tell
Just a
you
reminder.
in real life, but then also on the internet life.
Yeah, you need to
I
help the
want
people
you to
out.
make sure that you have, people interacting with you.
So I'm hoping if I read this comment aloud I got on TikTok, it will incentivize me to, by the time this is up, I will have already had done a video response to this comment. But someone commented on a post of mine from August 16th, 2001. This was when like Rush Talk was blowing up. And I was replying to someone's comment saying, how did the actives pick out PNMs during recruitment? Did you guys look for a certain type of girl, or did you guys not look for a certain type of girl? And I responded saying, without a doubt, like I was one of the few blonde white girls at my school, and even the smaller blonde white girls in my sorority. And so I would be tasked to like talk to other fellow blonde white girls, be like, get more of those. Because we had an advisor who was a white woman who was so eager to get some more white girls in our sorority, which I was like, maybe you should work at a different school because we are not the majority here. Okay, ma'am. And I was saying that, like, it was very much about looks. And then you'd like pick out people whose like personalities you vibed with, but everyone wanted like the prettiest pledge class. And I said that like when we were like afterwards, when our pledge class happened and I had finished rushing, and everyone's like, oh my God, we got the prettiest pledge class. Amazing. And I was like, oh my God, that's so flattering. And then I got to be older and then I was on the other side and I was like, this is actually fucking weird. Like it was weird. And someone named Sherry Martin, who is a public account. And I have, I do enjoy when people leave comments like this who have a public account, because I don't think you should be able to comment if you don't. And it says, are you pretty? I'm not being mean. I am old. LOL. I can no longer tell which younger girls are pretty. ... Everyone looks the same to me. And I look at it and I go, Sherry, you are an old blonde white woman. We've all always looked the same. This isn't brand new.
But also, why do you care?
That's a great question. And also not a question for me. Maybe you show it. And again, like, man, it's abundantly clear that this is posted first thing in the morning and I have no makeup on. Like, I'm not looking stunning and gorgeous, but like, okay, mama, let's research, click the profile, check it out. And then also ask
Did you have your glasses on and your hair tied up and you didn't take them off to look like the hot girl?
No. And like phone a friend and be like, is this girl pretty? Or keep being curious, keep asking questions and move on. Like, what is it to you? But I thought it was so funny. Like, I'm not being mean, LOL. I'm old,
but
LOL.
Like, why are you old commenting on this? When I am on TikTok and I see that I've accidentally stumbled into early 20s TikTok or high school TikTok, I see things. I may have an opinion, but then I'm like, this is not my age group. I'm not actually going to respond, because I respond all day long. Well, not all day long. I have a life. I've set my limit to 1 hour of TikTok a day. But I respond to comments all the time. They don't get as much because I've now privated my account, not because I'm saying I still stand by everything I say,
you could
but
look
it's
up your
because
name.
of jobs. Yes.
Totally. But I'm saying like, you're not an anonymous person.
Yes,
yeah.
My actual name is on my account.
Yeah. And like you can see mutuals and all that stuff. But yeah, like you'll never catch me. I will say it. I find it so fucking weird and uncomfortable when I've like accidentally happened upon a couple creators, I think only one or two of them, who were like young girls getting ready for their bat mitzvah, going to like bat mitzvahs, get ready with me. And I like open the comments and it's like people my age like commenting and I'm like, no. Even if you think you're being like supportive, like it's weird because then they feel like they're performing for people who they look up to and like for the adults in their life. And like, even if you think you're not an issue, it's the dynamic that you're making okay. And that translates to their real life. And I'm like, no, just move on, move fucking along. Well, yeah, so that's this podcast. You excited to shit talk?
Yes, I'm very excited.
So first up, our very first segment is But Am I Wrong? Where we each pitch either a hot take, a rant, a lukewarm take, or something that's happened in our life recently or something we've been dwelling on that we want to know if we are in the wrong about.
I'm up first. And my thought is that ghost kitchens need to go the fuck away. And I'm not talking about the ones where like they don't have an actual storefront and they're using someone else's kitchen because they're like their actual restaurant. They just don't have the capital yet to get all their things up and running. I'm talking about the ones where it is another restaurant Or an establishment such as Chuck E. Cheese that is just selling their pizza but calling it Pascal's Pizza. So recently, I
Oh no.
ordered
Our foodie girl was a victim?
some chicken wings,
Oh, that's a bad one.
and fries, and there were some other things that were in this order. And I get it, and I'm looking at it, and I was like, this is TGI Fridays.
Where the fuck is even a TGI Fridays?
There's one where I used to live. I could walk to it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your last place?
Yeah.
But closer to farther on the west side.
Mm-hmm. Because I also got a dessert, and it was like a chocolate, whatever. I forgot
Like a
what
lava
it
or
is.
something?
Yeah. And, I'm sitting here, and I'm like, I'm going to have my gluten for the evening,
Mm-hmm.
for the week. Actually, 2 weeks. My period. All that.
Yep.
And I'm tasting, I was like, this is not good. And then I Googled the name of it, and it was TGI Fridays. No, I Googled the address that was listed, and it was TGI Fridays. And I was so mad. And this is not the first time that I've been duped by one of these restaurants. I also ordered a burger one time, and I was like, great, they have a gluten-free bun. Someplace called the Burger Den. It was late, I want to say, like 11 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And so pickings are slim at that point. But I was like, this looks fine. It's a burger. You can't really fuck up a burger too hard. I get it. And the container says Denny's. Denny's. If I'm going to Denny's, I do not want a burger. I want breakfast.
Did you get fries though?
Yeah.
Because the only time that I'm okay with a ghost kitchen is for people to set aside their biases and understand that Denny's makes some fucking killer fries.
They were good, but they have styrofoam containers, so therefore they were soggy by the time they got to me.
They get damp.
I don't understand why we haven't had any innovation in fast food containers.
Or just a bag. Just give me an uncoated bag.
Sometimes even those get soggy.
Yeah, but the coated ones are worse because they don't have as much ventilation. So
But why don't you make a container that has vents in the container and then put it inside the bag? At least some of it's escaping.
Yeah.
So I'm just tired of, I think this is false advertisement. It needs to be disclosed that this is not where you're actually ordering from. And then I was looking up other places that are doing this. There's a place called Just Wings or Thrilled Cheese, and it's IHOP. Pascali's Pizza and Wings, Chuck E. Cheese. Cosmic Wings is Applebee's. The Burger Den and the Meltdown, which I see the Meltdown all the time, is also, and they're Denny's. The Meltdown has very, different iterations of that, but you look at the picture and it's all the same pictures. And it's just what are y'all doing?
Should be illegal.
It should be illegal.
I feel like Gavin Newsom would be all over this.
But they've been doing this since the pandemic.
No, I know. But I feel like this to me is one of those weird things that he would attach on to.
Yeah, but I'm not happy. And I feel duped, hoodwinked, bamboozled. The wool was pulled over my eyes, and angry.
Someone else might relate to this. And
Who?
Who else has been duped, hoodwinked, bamboozled? Who'd the original quote come from?
That's the Black people saying. It's not an original quote from something.
And you learn new things every day. Well, you are not wrong whatsoever at all. Not even a little. And I wholeheartedly stand with you and stand by you, because I think that we shouldn't have to Google the address of something to know if it's a place that we would like to be a patron at.
Mm-hmm.
Because we should have a standard, a code standard, and we should know that if we're going through a specific vehicle to get this thing, in this case, Uber Eats or Postmates or whatever, that they've done the vetting process.
Right. And then if I knew I was ordering from TGI Fridays, and if I actually wanted TGI Fridays, there's so many other things I could have gotten that I would have enjoyed.
Well, you're not wrong. And yours leads quite seamlessly into mine.
I love it. We're going to take a break, and then when we get back, Megan will get into her, but am I wrong?
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back, and it's time to get into But Am I Wrong? A seamless transition from Melissa's. And it's, I don't know where to direct my anger to. I don't know who's at fault. I'm really quick to blame two parties, Ronald Reagan and private equity. I'm assuming it goes into the second one, but dentists. What the fuck? What the fuck? So I haven't had dental insurance in a long time, and I have a lump on my gum. It is painless. It doesn't hurt whatsoever. There's no head to it. It doesn't bleed. There's like nothing there. There's no tooth pain or whatever. So it has not been like a high priority, but as I've been dealing with like a decline in other health and thinking it might be thyroid or whatever. I'm going through all of the avenues to be like, okay. But even prior to that, I was like, I have to go to the dentist. I have genetically shitty fucking teeth. I've always had bad teeth. I don't drink soda. I don't eat candy. I brush my teeth minimum like 5 times a day. I am flossing constantly. Like I am a dentist's wet dream. And even then they go, I tell you can do so much and it doesn't fucking matter. And I'm like, I know. Horrible. So I finally got dental insurance. And when I had made my appointment initially, this was months ago, I had called and asked about their COVID protocols, and they were like, what? And I was like, do wear masks, that whole thing.
Yep.
And I looked at the Google Maps view of the place, and I said, yeah, I don't want to go there. That's sketchy. So I have been searching for a new dentist. And so I go through my insurance, and I go through to the list that they have. And for the first 3 or 4 pages of the people who are on the insurance and they are dentists in the area, they are a dental group organization or whatever. And then I don't even look them up on Google Maps because I'm like, I know that this is a big building. I know the street, I know what this is. There's not a single building here on this street that I would go, no, I'm not letting people inside my mouth at this establishment. I call and I ask, hi, I saw that these 5 fucking dentists out of 20 on this first 2 pages all say they're accepting new patients when I would love to get an appointment. And they said, yeah, we don't actually have any till mid next year. I'm sorry, excuse me? Who's booking up all of these? What are you talking about? What do you mean that there is not an appointment for dentistry until mid next year. Who's got all the appointments? Why are you you're actually not taking new patients then. This makes no fucking sense. So then I go to the next page and I find someone else. I click on it, not accepting new patients, not accepting new patients, not accepting new patients. And then finally, when I get to the section and at this point, I'm saying, fine, I'll see a man. Fine, I'll let a man put his grubby little fucking paws in my mouth. I start looking at the addresses of some of these places. So I go, this is weirdly close. Where would this be? Or this one is on a street that I wouldn't think. And the way that every single one of them I use on Google Earth, Google Maps view, is in a strip mall with a broken sign and cardboard like over the in the window, so I can't see what the inside looks like from the Google Maps views, which I think is they've just put it up there for privacy of patients while they're doing the Google Street Views or whatever. And every single one has the worst ratings I've seen in my entire life. What do you mean they extracted the wrong tooth? What do you mean they didn't do the Novocaine right? Like, what do you mean that all this has happened? What do you mean that I need dental insurance and I need to go to a dentist, but not one of you is willing to see me remove a correct tooth if I needed to, whatever that is, and the whole shit show. And then all of the other places, even if they've got good reviews, it's like, great, did have to work with my insurance for a while because they were trying to overcharge me, asking me to pay cash, not wanting to go through my insurance. Whatever happened to good old mom and pop, humble little dentistry? What do you mean I have to get quotes from multiple people because these people are known to scam you and make you think you have all these other things wrong with you? What? What do you mean? And it's just, at this point, I don't even want to go to the dentist.
I'm sorry, Megan. This is not new information. You and I have both been looking for a new dentist. And a friend of mine, she took her child to the dentist for the first time. And this place had fine reviews, but it was like in her, insurance network. She goes, the people up front are nice. The dentist themselves is horrible, like awful. And then they also misbilled her.
Yep.
But now she found another place that is very gentle and her baby didn't even cry.
Oh, that's good.
They were so nice. So I will send you that information to see if it falls into your network. It would be a little far for you, but
yeah, it's just like
at
a
least you could
shit
get
show.
in. Yeah.
Like it's just a total shit show. And the idea that like the best possible outcome of this from like the reviews I've seen of people, it's like you're hoping that the worst thing this dentist is going to do is going to overcharge you and make you do all of these other things and jump all these hoops to like follow up and stay on their ass, and your insurance is asked to make sure that they don't overcharge you. That's like the best reviews of some of these places. And like, that's like the bare minimum. And I'm like, why? Like what? Like, and I know a lot of like dental practices were like bought by private equity. And I know that. And even ones that are like, even if it doesn't say private practice, like that, those big conglomerates can get bought. But like the idea that it's also like a bartering and trade system, that like someone who's in a medical profession is going to like lie to me about a diagnosis or about like work that I need and doing stuff that they don't need to do to upcharge you. And it's just like such a weird, different vibe than like other medicine, where other medicine, they're usually like, you're fine, like nothing's wrong with you, and you have to like push for more. And this one, it's like, okay, so that whole thing of your brain that you've trained to advocate for yourself, now don't advocate too hard because they're going to give you work, all this expensive work done that you don't actually need. And like, I was even reading on Reddit that people were like, make sure you get at least 3 quotes from different dentists. I'm like, I can't even find one that has a review that there's no fucking cockroaches.
And the thing is that before I moved here, I've always had very positive dental experiences. And even the dentist, when I first moved here, she was awesome. But then after the pandemic, and I had her for a while, but then after the pandemic, like she was no longer in practice. Or she moved. I don't know what happened, but she's not there. So I don't know what's happened. That was the first and only dentist, like first as in only as in I went to her for my regular cleanings, but the first and only dentist that I ever went to here, and she was awesome.
Yeah, I've only ever had one other dentist here too. And like, I talked mad shit on him because he said, open your mouth wider, don't be a girl about it. And I was like, sir, you're 5'2" with tiny little hands. You want to talk about gender roles? And like, he like annoyed me. And I thought it was crazy that this old man had his quite literally ancient, not looking on death's door. His mother was the receptionist. And I was like, send her to Boca. Like, you are working your mother. Your mother is quite literally the oldest person I know. Like, that's fucking, like, and this man was like 65 and his mom was 90, maybe. Horrible. And he was like, can you go clean this, whatever? And I was like, oh my God, at least call her mom at this point. Like, this, because otherwise this looks fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like complain about him, and Mott's also still like, Mott's like still ghosts him. He hasn't like done the whole process of switching. And then he had like recommended an oral surgeon who like fucked something with Mott's. And then this dentist also had fucked up something with Mott's. And like, I have talked shit on him, but now I'm like, dang, is that the best dentist I was ever going to have? And like, it sucked because I do feel like somewhat misled because like that was really easy to like get into him. And like, I don't know what's changed, but I was like, oh, here's this dentist. This is nearby. Let me schedule an appointment. And like, it was no big deal. And now I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
I don't think, and like, sure, I moved to a different location in LA. I don't think there's more teeth here. Like, I think there's the same amount of teeth. And like, who is taking up all of these appointments? I need to know that part. What do you mean you have 90 dentists who work in this massive building and none of them have a single appointment? Who is it Reptar? Like, whose fucking teeth are taking up all of this? So... And I don't want to lie and say it's an emergency. And Mott's was like, just say it's an emergency. And I was like, I don't want to, because like tooth pain is nerve pain. And like that is like so dire and urgent that like there are people who are saying that it's an emergency. Sure, there are people who would call and say it's an emergency and it's not. But like I would never want to say that and have someone who's like in pain not be able to get in because they've prioritized me because I also say it's an emergency.
Yeah. Yeah.
The emergency is I'm impatient and this is fucking bullshit.
True.
And I'm still paying for insurance.
Yep.
So if anyone else has recommendations of dentists in Los Angeles, I don't want to go to the beach and I don't want to go to Encino. And if you're from here, just that's what you get. That's my parameter.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into But Are You Wrong?
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the magical millennial.
And I'm the dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
And now we are back, and it is time for But Are You Wrong? And this is when you write in to us and you say, Megan and Melissa, am I wrong about this? And you do that in one of two ways. You send an email to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com, or you send us a DM over on our Instagram account. We ask that you keep it under 300 words. It is all anonymous, so please come up with fake names. And if you want to do names that correlate with each other pop culture-wise, think it through. Think through what implications you are putting there. Otherwise, just pick random names. And let us know your age, though, please. That's like a requirement because we need you to be 18 or over. And also, sometimes if you do something at 22, it's not wrong. You do that same thing at 32, it's wrong.
Correct. All right, here's the first one. Megan and Melissa, I'm a long-time listener and excited to have a reason to write in. I'm a female, 26, she, her pronouns. I am wondering if I'm wrong for moving out on my roommate without notice. My roommate was a hot mess, to put it lightly. She was not discreet in her sexual behavior when I was home. She was a total slob. My final straw was when she brought my ex home as a conquest. She saw me cry over him for 2 weeks after I left for cheating. They both knew it would hurt me. I still can't understand what her vendetta against me was. The next day, I bought out my lease and left. When she found out I moved out, she started sending me awful messages, making social media posts about me and bad-mouthing me to anyone who would listen. I know she doesn't have much money and our rent was steep. Was I wrong for just leaving? She brought this on herself.
Oh my God.
Like, who does this? What an awful person.
See, and at this point, I would have broken into her room and been like, where's the voodoo doll you have of me? Like, this is like, you're not wrong in the sense that, like, yeah, this bitch had a full-on vendetta against you. What? Why?
Why? Does
she look like you? Reason? Is it like, I'm watching Greek right now, and so, like, it's giving Patty, who is the Putin, If I Was Your Mom. It's that actress who plays this girl who, like, she, like, pretends her bike breaks down in, like, front of the frat house and is like, oh my God, it's, like, such a bad storm. And, like, the guy is like, no, what a fucking hottie. And then one of the other guys is like, she's weird. And then they realize that, like, she went to camp with him and, like, she was never cute. And, like, then she got hot and now she wants to be with him or whatever. I'm like, do you know her from the past? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm unsettled, even after moving.
This? But also, if you bought out your lease, then wouldn't she be set on rent until your lease is up?
I think depending on where you're at, it might be like your half of the, like, you might have two separate, like, leases or something. I don't know, though. Like, I don't know.
I'm sorry that you're going through this. I'm sorry that she's a complete asshole. I'm sorry that she fucked your ex that you cried over for 2 weeks. I'm sorry you got cheated on. I'm sorry that she's making video and social media posts about you and talking bad. Anyone that believes her or is okay with her side of the story was never your friend to begin with. Just block her everywhere, and, like, your real friends will be there for you.
Yeah,
bitch.
Yeah, I would, like, not to be, like, extreme, I would, like, cut off any mutuals that you have with her. Because, like, to me, this is, like, super unstable. Like, this is, like, are you going to show up where I work? Like, how, like, what is all this animosity? That, like, if I had any friends that were, like, friendly with her and it was like, well, she hasn't done anything to me. Like, that to me, I'd be like, no, we're fucking out. Like, I'm already out with people like that. But, like, this, I would draw such a fucking hard line that, like, if you know her, even if you follow her on Instagram, like, if you're any sort of, like, connection, nope. Yeah, you're not wrong at all. I hate to call someone, specifically a woman, following into, like, the trope of deeply unwell. This is deeply unwell.
This is fucked up.
Yeah, like, this is, like, I don't have sisterhood with you. Like, no longer. Like, there is none. No. This is, I'm watching my fucking ass.
It's so pointed, too, because, like, if she wanted to fuck him, she could have just went to his place and fucked him. She brought him back to your home.
And she found another person who also hates you for what they did to you.
Yeah.
Like, and so, like, that's, like, really, like, deeply, intentionally malicious.
Evil. It's just evil. This is an
In
evil
the words
person.
of Olivia Culpo, this is evil. You are an evil person. Okay. Hey, Queens. I'm writing in for a but am I wrong? I'm wondering if I'm wrong for telling my manager I know my coworker lied about being sick and actually went to a concert. So backstory, my coworker and I used to be really tight. We worked for the same company, but not on the same team. We recently were moved onto the same team by chance a few months ago. Since then, I have seen how absolutely lazy she is. I've had to cover for her so freaking many times. It took a toll on our friendship because I called her out for it. Needless to say, we aren't friends anymore. So last week, I'm off on Friday. I took a day off just to relax because I had the PTO to spare. My manager called me in a panic saying my coworker took off sick and could I please log in and take their place in a big meeting. I'm pissed because I know that they're not sick. While we're not friends anymore, I'm still on their close friends on Instagram where they posted that they got last-minute tickets to a concert 3 hours away. There's no way she could have gone to work and also made the concert, hence why she is quote-unquote sick. I logged on and took her place for the meeting. But I also screenshotted her story as well as the stories throughout the whole weekend of her being out and about and very much not sick. I submitted it all to my manager and they are looking into it. Now that the dust has settled, I feel like I may have been wrong to take it that far. Here's the thing. I would never do this because I would fake sick to get out of work. Now, if you are not someone who's going to do what she did, for sure, go for it. if that's the code of conduct you hold yourself to and expect other people to, that's fine. I will complain and bitch when other people do it, and I will also do it. So, like, I'm not going to fucking say anything about that because it will come full circle for me, but maybe not for you.
The thing for me is that you are constantly picking up her slack at work, and she's like lying about things. But then if I would have been at work already and just had to be in a meeting, fine. But now you're off work. And I'm already off work on my paid time off. And I have to get up. If I'm in a meeting, now I've got to get up, get ready, look good for this meeting, and give a fucking presentation to some people. So now you're cutting into my time. If you did this and it was not cutting into anybody else's time, I'd be like, no, don't report them.
Yeah, it would have been none of your business. But she made it your business. She made it your business by cutting into your time off. I'm pissed for you. I'm also pissed at your boss, and also, again, I don't know what your job is, but like, I would have been like, I hope that you got a whole new PT, like a whole other day. Like, I hope this didn't count as like half a day. Yeah, exactly. And also, like, I hope you were allowed to say no and you opted to say yes, and then you can work on a people-pleasing kind of tendency and like a needing to overperform at work kind of tendency, and not like you had no other option than to do that, because like I think one person should be able to lie about being sick and another one should have PTO, and the company shouldn't burst into flames.
Mm-hmm. But it might be a small business.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like
that. But like, no, I don't think what you did was wrong, because I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed. Also, be smart. She should have been smart about her lie and removed you. When you stopped being friends, she should have been removed from being on your close friends list.
Or at least for the weekend.
Yeah. Like,
when she's gone and doing this.
Be pointed about what you do, what you're posting on social media. Don't post things.
Here's the thing. Would I lie about, and have I lied about being sick to get out of things? Without a doubt. Do I immediately remove anyone from said close friend's story who might see it, or I not post? Yeah. So like,
she's dumb.
I think like what she did and letting you know, I think the right thing to do is to report her. I don't think that I would have probably done that unless, depending on how long we've been working together and how much she had personally pissed me off. But I think it's the right thing to do, because at a certain point, like, if she continues to do this kind of thing and like skirt by with like, you picking up all of the slack, at one fucking point, you're not going to be able to do two people's work for one, and then it will fall on. You'll both be at the consequence of, not disciplinary, but like your boss, of like, if this isn't getting done to like the caliber or whatever, like they're not really going to divide you up of like who's doing what if it's a team like that. So I think if she is a liability for you being able to perform well at your job, she shouldn't be your coworker.
Also, don't answer the phone when you're off work. Don't answer the phone for people you work with. Don't do that, because then you wouldn't have to be in this position. As well as, this is why I say don't be friends with people you work with, because there's always some type of competition, even if you're working in the same department. Don't do it. You can be friends outside of work, but don't bring that to work. Or like, you're like, this person is cool. This is a person that I, have lunch with. And then when you move on from that job, y'all can become actual friends, but like, don't actually be friends with people, real friends with people you work with. Friends enough to be on your close friend list.
I think that like you can be friends with people you work with and you talk about work things together. Right. But I think the second you start talking about personal things and work things together, it muddies the waters like so quickly. And then they have their hands in both sides of your life. Mm-hmm. And like that to me just feels like too exposed.
Too much.
But I love screenshotting, and I love when you get to use those screenshots.
Receipts. Mm-hmm. Always have them.
So many.
I want an update on both of these, actually.
Oh, desperately.
But we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
Christmas, everybody! My name's Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody! Let's go!
Hey everyone, join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
Each week, we deliver 4 fun-filled shows.
In Don't Blame Me, we tackle our listeners' dilemmas with hilariously honest advice.
Then we have But Am I Wrong, which is for the listeners that didn't take our advice. Plus, we share our hot takes on current events.
Then tune in to See You Next Tuesday for our listener poll results from But Am I Wrong?
And finally, wrap up your week with Fisting Friday, where we catch up and talk all things pop culture.
Listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. All right, we're back. And it's time for But Are You Wrong? And that's when we pick somebody from the news, from real life, from any type of media, and point our finger at them and say, you are wrong.
Boo, you suck.
And my pick for this week is Erica Lee. She posted in a Facebook group called Springfield, Ohio Crime and Information. And she said, warning to all about our beloved pets and those around us. My neighbor informed me that her daughter's friend had lost her cat. She checked pages, kennels, asked around, etc. One day she came home from work as soon as she stepped out of her car, looked towards a neighbor's house where Haitians live, and saw her cat hanging from a branch, like you do a deer butchering. They were carving it up and eating it. I've been told they are doing this to dogs. They have been doing it at Snyder Park with ducks and geese, as I was told that last bit by rangers and police. Please keep a close eye on these animals. And then within days, this claim that she made had been passed around the internet, and over 67 million people saw it. And then it got taken to the national stage during the debate where Trump brought this up, that in Springfield, they're eating dogs, after he and JD Vance posted on their social medias about it as well. And as they did during the debate, they fact-checked him live, and they were like, there's no evidence that this ever happened. So Vance then followed up with another post saying, in short, don't let crybabies in media dissuade you fellow patriots. Keep the cat memes coming. In Springfield, the public official said, in the last several weeks, my office has received many inquiries from actual residents of Springfield who've said their neighbors' pets or local wildlife were abducted by migrants. It's possible, of course, that all these rumors will turn out false. That's what JD Vance said that the Springdale official said, but it never actually happened. It never happened. He lied. So then this Erica Lee lady, she's 35. She should know better. And she should know how social media works. I know it sounds like something an old person did, right?
Someone needs to do an inspection of that home, because that is lead paint behavior and it is way too young for her to be just showing signs of that.
So she sat down with the local NBC News there about her role in spreading the information and the false claims. And she said, it just exploded into something I didn't mean to happen. She never imagined that her post would ever get the traction that it did, and expressed regret in her interview with NBC at the harm that her post caused. And then she, of course, said, I'm not racist. And of course, she has a daughter who is half Black. And she said that she was a member, Erica Lee said that she was a member of the LGBTQ community. Everybody seems to be turning it into that, and that was not my intent. She had to pull her daughter out of school because she's worried for her safety and the attention that her family is getting. She said that she was also concerned about the safety of the Haitians in the community, which she did not intend to antagonize. And then she said, I feel for the Haitian community. If I was in the Haitians' position, I'd be terrified too, worried that somebody's going to come after me because they think I'm hurting something that they love. And that, again, that's not what I was trying to do.
That feels like a threat. Like that feels like you should be afraid.
So despite the facts that everything that the city officials in Springfield, that they're saying that none of this is true, Trump and Vance keep pushing and saying that this is happening. And then at a press conference in Florida, Trump declined the chance to walk back his claim when asked by a reporter. And earlier in the press conference, he said that he might make an appearance in Springfield in the future to talk about the influx of Haitian migrants that the city has seen. And then Erica Lee said, I didn't think it would ever get past Springfield. And I just want this to be a lesson to everyone. Before you post or repost or retell a story, please check the facts first, because you can take something as small, it seemed like it was something small that was just happening in a community page on Facebook that only people in this town saw. And then it blew up to be something that is now being debated. And Haitians are getting attacked for this. A Haitian woman got acid thrown on her car. And so stop spreading lies. Look up information that you think might sound suspicious and then share. But like, if this actually happened, don't you think that the city officials would have posted it and you don't need to be the person that is running and telling the information if this is in an actual crime?
Don't you think the person who is the victim of the crime would be talking about that? Like, I think about that all the time when people are like, well, I heard this thing. I go, don't you think if those people existed, we would know who they are? Like,
Right.
Don't you think that, and if you know, that means you would know from them and we would know from them. Like, they wouldn't be hiding in the shadows, because now people who don't even know who the person is, but know that it happened, you would know. Like, that's a game of telephone that, again, you have access to the same public thing. If you don't know this person personally, we all know this person the same way you do. Like, it's crazy. And then another woman made a police report about, like, saying that her Haitian neighbors ate her cat. And then this is the other part that's important of reading the news the next day, checking it up, looking it up the next day after that. So you might have seen, oh, this woman reported her neighbors for eating her cat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That woman said, oh, oops, found my cat. It was in the basement. Sorry. You have to look for the follow-up too, not just like someone's cool. Anyone can file a police report for quite literally fucking anything.
Can you like get a false report like knocked off you? Sure. But like your cat was at your house.
Yeah, where was the corpse? Where was the video evidence of this? Where was all of this? And also, where were the non-doctored AI images that are clearly AI of these things going on and happening? And it's just so remarkable that you would think that if all of these people know this thing to be true, and it's such an obvious fact, we'd have no issue proving that, and there would be no issue releasing footage and verifying all of those things.
Yep. And then people talking about the influx of Haitians is because people in Springfield, they're filling jobs that people in Springfield didn't want. And that's why they moved there.
It's just like mind-blowingly simple once you ask yourself one or two questions. All of it unravels. And that's the part that I get so heated on, is that like you want angry headlines. You don't want anything else. You don't want to read anything else. You don't want to follow up. You don't even want to actually know more about the thing, because if you learn more about the thing, it's never going to sound as salacious or wild or as horrible as it is. And it's like they just collect these just sentences about these things, and there's no desire to deep dive into them. And that's when it feels like so fucking hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I have had such a fucking hard time even opening Instagram on anytime anyone makes any commentary about, like, because no one I follow is posting that being a legitimate thing, with people being like, holy fucking hell, how are people saying this? Or on TikTok or whatever. And all the comments, people are like, I've seen it. And I'm like, you quite literally have not. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Well, mine is pop culture. And I would like to nominate People Magazine People magazine just released their, I don't know if they're calling it a cover star. I don't know how they go with it because they don't do monthly. They do weekly, bi-weekly, almost every other day.
Mm-hmm.
But from the September 30th issue, Hayden Panettiere is on the cover. And I've seen a lot of people talking about this. And I'm so glad that people who like work in PR have been talking about this, because like I noticed this immediately. But most of the time, a People cover story is a paid opportunity, and as in they're paying you for your story. And so when you see someone who's like on the cover of a People magazine, and like that's why you'll see things that range from celebrity, their baby, like, oh, we brought our new baby into this world, or like human interest stories like Octomom or whatever. Like it is a paid opportunity. So like, why the hell is Angelina Jolie showing her baby on People magazine? This isn't Vogue. It's a paid opportunity. And for a lot of celebrities who take the paid opportunity to do so, it is getting ahead of things. Or if it's in terms of like a baby, the paparazzi cannot then sell it off to the highest bidder, that they can actually be the ones who are getting paid instead of paparazzi getting paid for like the first look at so-and-so's child. And that's thankfully is not, there's now laws against that, but just so people know. And so most of the time, very rarely are you going to find a paid for cover that is not exploitative in any sense, whether someone is exploiting someone else or People magazine is exploiting someone who has gone through something horrible and tragic or is dealing with something and they're an everyday person and they need this money and they know they need this money and they're just sending them out to get absolutely shit on by their audiences. So she has very publicly, transparently, candidly gone through things, but also talked about the things that she's going through as she's gone through them afterwards, all of these things. This is not like a situation where someone is struggling in the public eye and we've never heard them speak about this. She spoke at length about her issues with substances, with addiction, with her relationship with her ex and the custody issues between him and her and their daughter. And she is, I would consider her, I mean, no, I don't even consider her. She's a child star.
Mm-hmm.
So she has been around for an incredibly long time. She's been making money for a really long time. And I think a lot of people forget that she's a child star and they don't give her story the same acknowledgement that they do with Drew Barrymore, that they do with people who we know very publicly have been child stars. She has been an actress since she was a child and a working actress, like in things you've seen. She's the kid in what's it called? That movie Mott's loves to cry to.
Oh, what, Sunshine?
Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, she's a little girl in that. Mm-hmm.
And that's not her first role. So she has also opened up. She was on Nashville, and something that I think is really fucking heinous is they wrote a substance issue addiction storyline with her character in Nashville while she was going through it in her personal life, and they knew that. Yuck, fucking shitty. And she's talked about this. So this is not someone who it's like, oh, we've never heard her speak about this before. But basically, they did a cover story with her, and the title of, like, on the cover, I'm starting to feel like myself again. After getting sober and preparing for a comeback, the actress and mom was so debilitated following the sudden death of her brother that she was afraid to leave the house, how she's facing trauma and finding strength. It's an entire story where they've positioned for her to talk about sobriety, her issues with maintaining sobriety, losing custody of her daughter, and her brother's very recent death. And they have posted these video interviews with her. And from a human level, the way that if I cut the cameras immediately, the fact that this was not only shot, filmed, edited, approved, and posted maintains up with comment sections open, and they're racking in the fucking views of this, knowing that there is so much speculation on it. And like the part that I find like it's disgusting on every level of exploiting someone who is emotionally not in a good space. She's like not in a good space to be talking about all of this trauma. You're asking her, hey, tell me about how your brother died. Like, tell me all about it. It's so raw. It's so horrible to get to ask her to kind of do this and talk about this. All the while, you are now opening up for speculation about the state that she is in while she's in an ongoing custody battle. And this video could be used by her ex to maintain that she does not have partial custody of her kid. So in the video, she's just talking about things that, she's talking about her brother. She's talking about how like she'll never get over that death. Like she's like, I'm never going to be the same. When her daughter was born, all of these things. And people are accusing her of being high. People are accusing her of being drunk, saying that she's relapsed. And the very small minority that I agree with that is not being pushed out because it's not as salacious is there is a likelihood that after all of this horrible pain, suffering, and trauma she has been through, she is getting help for her mental health. And the medication she is on for helping her mental health is working and helping, but she should not be doing an interview. She shouldn't be doing an interview. And the idea that like it is, in my opinion, far more likely that's what's going on than she's drunk or she's abusing a medication that she is not prescribed and is not needed. It's not under the guise of a doctor. That to me is far less likely. And now you have someone who is being completely torn apart and ridiculed for seeking help for their mental health and working on that and treating that. And then we like further the stigma of mental health because, hey, sometimes getting treated for intense trauma doesn't look like everything's fine. Doesn't look like everything's totally cool and back together. Sometimes you need things that are different medications at different times. And the fact that her PR was okay with this, the fact that People was okay with this, they've left the comments on. They removed it from like the grid, but it's still on the reel and it's still over on their TikTok. And it's so exploitative. It just feels like it should be illegal. And like the same way that when you're on certain medications, you shouldn't be allowed. You're not allowed to drive. I don't think that you should be allowed to do interviews. I don't think if you had signed a contract or you'd done something, I'm not saying that this is what she's on because this would not be applicable in the situation. But there are people who take prescribed Ambien for insomnia and other medical conditions. And when they do things while they are on the Ambien, like there are like that will be brought up in court is like, were they mentally fit to be held accountable for this crime to this extent because they were on a mind-altering substance prescribed by their doctor? Like, it just makes me so mad. And I find that, I don't know, like I find that like, I know that people want to say like Hollywood and LA is like so corrupt and everybody's like so fake and backstabby or whatever. And I like don't agree with that. Like fundamentally as a whole, I think like organizations and companies can be bad, but like I don't find people inherently bad, but I find People magazine inherently bad at this point. And yeah, just the journalistic integrity of this, that someone felt comfortable. And like we look back on like old Diane Sawyer interviews and we go, oh my God, how the hell could people ask that? Or old David Letterman stuff. And like this to me is, we're not just making fun of a woman. We're not just like sexualizing her or slut shaming her or whatever. It's like we're giving a woman an opportunity to be absolutely ripped to shreds, talking about the death of her brother, the loss of custody of her child, her addiction, all the while people speculating that she is not sober. She's not doing well. First of all, of course she's not fucking doing well, but that the high likelihood that she's just being treated for her mental health. And then she's going to go, well, I don't want to do this then if this is how it comes across. And then it's, which side do you pick? Do you pick treating your mental health or do you pick the career and what people are going to say and what people are going to support and knowing that you can't trust anybody? It's horrible. It's I've never seen a worse video. And like, I don't know who does what journalists they hire, because most of the time journalists are freelance. And I'm not even saying like, oh, well, if you were in the situation, straight up, I would refuse. I would quite literally, the second I got there, she opened her mouth, I would refuse. I would not even give them an interview and hope that they're going to not post it. I'd be like, no, I will not participate in this. And to me, like, I don't like to judge people who like, you have to put food on your table. You have to do jobs. You have to do work that you might not always stand behind. To me, this is like a hard line in the sand for everybody. Like, I think everybody should have walked off set. I don't care if you were lighting. I don't care if you were sound. Like, I don't care whatever it was. Like, this to me is like, it crossed the line so fucking hard.
It makes it where people as in People magazine, although they do swarmy things, they're not exactly a tabloid.
Well, they position themselves as being like, we're not like them.
Yeah, but then you do something like this and it's like, no, you actually don't have any actual journalistic integrity.
Yeah. It's fucked. It's so fucked. So I hope by the time that this is out that they've taken those videos down.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen any of them, but this sounds awful.
And I also wonder if she's trying to have a comeback could jeopardize her jobs that she has lined up.
Yeah. And doesn't she have a movie coming out right now?
Maybe. But here's the thing. I don't know because it's overshadowed by all of this. And like the part that like makes me like so mad about that, like she's really trying and she's been trying for a long time and she's been trying publicly, vocally, like she's really put herself out there and in the line of fire for like ridicule and criticism over women's mental health she had a really fucking hard postpartum, like all of these other things. And like, this is how we treat someone who has been so generous with sharing their life in the public eye and their struggles in the public eye and their learning and growing in the public eye.
Yeah. Yeah, she has a Lionsgate movie coming out on the 27th.
Lionsgate? Sue people. Sue them. Sue them.
All right. Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for joining. You can participate by sending us an email at butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. You can also vote when the votes go up. When that is, who knows? And then you can also join our Facebook group. It's free. You can join, but you got to fill out the information thoroughly. Please do not just put one word or one line answers. These are essay questions or short answer, not essay, short answer questions. You can also join. You can also join our Patreon. The current tiers as they exist now will no longer exist next week. Prices will be going up. So this is the last time for you to get in there at this rate. So join us tomorrow for See You Next Tuesday, Thursday for Don't Blame Me, and Friday for Fisting Friday.
We will
circle back.
Oh, we nailed that.
We did.
But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
And production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Laureau, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth.
Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.